of what we call trying to beat the clock. We're trying to beat the rain. I walked out of the house 4 times. This is the fourth time in 3 days to do this job. And 4 times it started raining. 3 times. Now it's drizzling. Now it started drizzling. So I'm going to get the rest of this machine together right now. I did get the linkage in here. This linkage bar. It was a little trick to getting it in there, but we have it working properly now. So the next step is I have oil and gas mixed, but I'm going to add about 5% more oil, which is not needed, but it's what I've always done. So I just wanted to make a note of that. Even though I have the oil marked off for 2 gallons or 10 liters, I'm going to go down, I'm going to add 5% more oil. You could add 10 or 15% more oil, but this machine is sensitive. So what, I don't know that it will start because there are pre-programmed, carburetor was pre-programmed from the factory, but I have the new coil in and I have the new carburetor in. Okay, so I'm going to be putting a new air filter and also the foam filter. This is a foam filter. And then of course there's a cover that goes over that. So there are, I think, 6 more of these bolts. Star bolts. 1, 2 is there. 3, 4. 4 more of star bolts. And then we'll start putting the filters on. I don't even know that I will put the filters on. I think I'll try to start it up without the filter. I did find the old sponge filter, and it's still a usable item. It's very hard, it's very brittle, but it's still, I can breathe through it pretty much no problem. And I would say there's 20% more resistance with the old one because it's just old, but it will definitely, you could definitely be used again. It won't choke out the machine. So there is a primary, there is a new screen filter that comes with the carburetor kit. For 20 bucks you get this filter, the foam filter, and the accordion foam paper filter, and the carburetor. Although the carburetor didn't fit, I had to take parts off the, I had to take the butterfly valve, which I might as well just show you. The carburetor came without, you see this? This is called a choke or a butterfly choke. Okay. The carburetor came with this choke. The new carburetor came with this choke on it, but no button on the side for the choke itself. Now, it's possibly that they meant to take this piece off, this piece off here. It's possibly that that comes off of this stem. But as hard as I did try to pull it off the end of this stem, I met with no success and so much resistance that I was afraid I was going to crack that plastic housing. So what I did is I removed the circlips and the spring from this butterfly valve, took the screw out of here, took the butterfly plate out, took the bearing bushings off and out, took it, basically I took it apart. This should be in here somewhere, like that. I took this shaft apart, and then I put the old shaft from this carburetor that had this plastic button on it for the choke into the new carburetor. It's the same opening, 23 millimeters, so it shouldn't be problematic. So what I'm going to do now, before it starts raining, is I'm going to put the old carburetor in this bag here. The old spark plug. I'm going to put the 2 filters. Here's the old spark plug. I'm going to put the 2 new filters that are the ones I have in the machine are new already. I probably replaced them recently within the last 10 years. These are micronite filters, and I'm going to put this butterfly in there in case I ever need it for something. I could always build an attachment for the choke on there. So I'm going to put all of that stuff together, get it out of the way, and then I'm going to seal up this bag. Yeah, I got the coil at 23 thousandths. But basically, there wasn't an adjustment on the coil. Thank you. But I did check it. It was 23 thousandths, which is close enough. I do have spark coming from the coil. Thank you for that piece of information. If I don't get it started, if I have to pull the coil, the adjustment on the coil was minimum. It was in an egg-shaped hole, an oblong hole, but I brought it as close to the flywheel as possible as it would allow, which is about 23 thousandths. And that's right underneath here. So here's the old coil here. And I think if I remember, it's been 2 years, but I think I remembered I checked it at 23 thousandths. So this adjustment here on this coil would only let me bring it to 23 thousandths. And that's where I brought it. So we'll find out in a minute. Thank you for that piece of information. Junior, thank you. If need be, I'll adjust it, but right now I have good spark, or spark enough that I believe it will start. So the next thing I'm going to do, Junior, is I'm going to put this camera on top of my pile of lumber here. I'll let you guys from a little bit of a distance, and what I'm going to do is put the other 2 screws in. I have my star drill. I'm going to put them in. Always put all your bolts in without tightening anything up before you snug it up. Junior, maybe you should know, maybe you would know what the needle valves should be. This on it's probably preset from the factory, but I don't know that to be true. And I can always change it because I don't know what the preset is. So I'll try to start it with the preset from the factory. Usually, anytime I ever had a small engine, 1 3/4 turns was pretty much standard to get it started. After that, you could play with the adjustment. 1.5 to 1 3/4 turns. I don't know that that's what it is. I didn't turn it closed. I probably should have, but I didn't. Because it was raining when I put it together and it was dark. So it was just something I forgot to do. So I'll look for your answer if you have an answer for that. But I'm just going to go with 1 3/4. This machine was bought in 2001, so I'm not going any much more than snug with these bolts because this plastic is brittle. Okay, next is I'm going to put the, I think next is that screen filter, if I remember correctly. This one here. Maybe not. Definitely not that one. Okay, that's it. Next. This one. Then this one here. Then this one here is different. One has 2 holes in it. One has 1 hole in it. So why is that's just a holder, placeholder, okay? The second hole hasn't been punched out. So I'll punch out the second hole myself. I should have punched out a nice size hole, and it did. Okay, I just made the second hole for this one here, just by wearing out some of the rubber. And now, I'm ready to put the cage on for the air filter. It's been 2 years since I had this saw apart, so. It's been 2 years since I even saw the saw. And all of this stuff fits into grooves. Okay, so we have we have 4 more star bolts that go on this filter. I'm only putting it together because I do believe it's going to run. It ran when I shut it off. And there's not much that this is going to interfere with. It's just a breather. And maybe we were always missing one. Perhaps. Not a big deal. But there is one missing. But I was working at night. Well, let's check the parts. Part is not in here. Not in this bag. Not that. Not that. Hoses. Nope. Okay, there was always one missing, I guess. Considering it's 20 years old, I have no trouble believing that. Okay. Huh. I'll look for your answer now, Junior. As soon as I snug these up. Okay, I'm not going to put this last filter on. No need for that. I do have something else. Okay, so first thing I want to do. Okay, so I'll look for your answer. Concerned expat. Okay. Well, yeah, a business card is just around 23 to 25 thousandths. I believe you. Ah, yeah, you know what? Concerned expat. That is on that problem was on my Echo blower, my 680 cubic foot per minute Echo blower, and I have that completely apart. So I tried to get parts in the city, and I ran across the same problem for getting parts for this. So the next, as soon as I get this back together and running, I'll look. I have the identification numbers for the Echo 680 blower. That was also bought in 2001. And I do understand that the clogged screen before the muffler is problematic to stop it from breathing properly. Because being that it's not a valve system, it's a reed system. I understand what you're saying, that it will cause the improper back pressure. So I'm either gonna cut a piece of screen. I also want to buy the shroud that goes around the muffler. There's a shroud that goes around the muffler. It was stainless steel, but it was magnetic stainless, and it rusted out. So I'll either make a piece out of galvanized metal, which I have right over there on my table, and it'll be temporary. It'll last a year or so. I don't have any thin stainless, but I'll figure out a way to put a new screen in there one way or another. Parts are not available in the stores, but I will look for that kit. I'll buy the whole muffler kit if I have to, and replace the shroud, the muffler, and the screen. But thank you, and you're right about that. I looked on the lawnmower doctor on his website, and he said the same thing, that a clogged screen will stop you from getting full power. So thank you for the information. I did do the research. You're absolutely right about that. To 1.25 to start after the new carb, then 1.5, then 1.5, or 1.5. Well, we're going to find out. All right, so I'm going to just add, for 10 liters, I'm going to add another 5% of oil. It won't hurt it, and I never had a problem. These machines will last pretty much for thousands of hours if you use the right amount of oil, but I've always added just a little bit more to be on the safe side, and I've never had one blow a ring. So that was about 5% more oil, or close enough for me. Um, I even put, to be honest with you guys, I put in my entire life since I've been using equipment, I have never used straight gas for a 4-cycle engine. I use the same oil that I mix for my 2-cycle engine for my 2 different gasoline powered power washers and any other small engine, a compressor, 8 horsepower compressor I had, gasoline operated. I used the same exact oil and gas mix, and that machine was a piece of junk Briggs and Stratton engine. It lasted 26 years by using the gas and oil in the machine. So that's just what I do. I know a lot of people would say, "Oh, it slows down the engine. You're going to get less horsepower." All true, but it lubricates the piston and the bearing to a better degree. Now I need gasoline. I really should have my eyedropper out here, but let's check. Let's check that adjustment. Okay, I want to mark my, I have a set of jeweler screwdrivers, so I'll mark those now. For the, I'm going to close this up. Okay, so I'm going to turn it 1/2, 1 whole turn, close it, 1.5 turns. Okay, so it was set at 1.5 turns. So I'm gonna, that's a 1/2 a turn, 1 turn, 1 3/8. So I marked the screwdriver on the side. I have the opening at 1 3/8. Okay, so the gas is good. We have the compression. We have spark. I'm going to put a little gas inside the in the piston. Got good spark. Now I'm going to drop some gas in the piston. I'll be back in a minute. I want to get something to drop gas in the piston where I can measure it. So I have a little straw. I only want to put about 7 or 8 drops in there. Okay, choke doesn't matter. Let's get some gas in there. Okay, so there's a compression release on the top of this machine. It's underneath this black boot here. You got to remember to push that down, otherwise it's almost impossible to start it unless you release the compression relief. And then once it starts, the compression release unhinges itself, unlocks. Okay, so alright, we'll try it. I'll put it on the floor. I can't pull it up that high on the bench. And I'll put it on top of this so I won't have to bend over so far. And we'll try it. Whoa! 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 We have excitement. So the compression release released itself even after just three strokes. So you have to put it back down. I'm going to keep the choke on. This machine was 13 pulls. 10 with the choke on, 3 with the choke off. So we have 4 pulls. That was 9. I'll take the choke off. 10. Thank you for your help. Thank you very much. I appreciate the help from a mechanic always. Thank you. And I remembered 10 pulls with the choke, 3 pulls without the choke. Nothing has changed in 20 years. And it's just this machine. Another machine would be 5 and 3. This one is 10. Ha! Boy, I surprised myself with that one. I surprised myself. Well, it did run when I shut it off. Dennis Adam, thank you. Yeah, I probably will. Once, well, I'll know. I have nothing that I really want to cut now, but I do have my jeweler's screwdrivers, and it was set at exactly 1.5, which is probably where they want it to be, and it is the right carburetor for the machine. So if it's any kind of an adjustment at all, if I opened it up an eighth of a turn, I lost power and it started bogging out when I gave it throttle. If I closed it 1/8 of a turn, I had the same power, but of course it's a leaner mix, and I really don't want a lean mix. I'd rather have a richer mix. The engine, of course, stays cooler, and you'll lose a few percentage points on power, but the engine stays cooler and the lubrication is better. I was really concerned about the crank. The crank hadn't been lubricated. That's why I didn't run it open until we got some smoke inside the crank. All right, so my next project is, thank you, Concerned Expat, thank you. Concerned Expat, good job, thank you. I agree. Okay, Concerned Expat, we're covering that right now. That's exactly what I said. I come across screen being clogged on the TS400 a lot. It's because the machine is working in such a dusty environment. I mean, this machine has probably cut. Well, I did one school job in Marathon where one trench I cut through. It was for the city of Marathon in a public school. One trench I cut, I don't know how many feet, hundreds of feet in one direction and hundreds back with the street saw. So, and it didn't get clogged because I have, of course, this water nozzle. I have the adapter for the hose, and they had water pressure in that thing. But if you're not using the water, I'll show you people how it works. Not Concerned Expat, but this has a water injection, and I'll show you how that works right now. If you have water injection and you're cutting concrete or whatever, you really want to use the water injection. So this hose here comes from the manifold hose, which comes down here, and then this piece here, it's a 3/8 pipe fitting, screws into here. Now, from this, it goes into a garden hose with pressure. So, and here is your on and off. The lever broke on that. It broke years ago. So that is a ball valve. I'll show you how that works now. And it has a screw in the top. I have to make a new lever. So this, you're not able to see what I'm showing you. Okay, this ball valve here, it's closed now. And open now. It's only a quarter turn ball valve. So open allows water to come in from the hose through this ball valve into this rubber manifold here, and then it shoots water out of a jet onto this onto the carborundum blade. And I also have a diamond blade for this that I paid $3,064 about 5 years ago. I bought a diamond blade. I saw it on sale. Now they're $110 for the same blade. So it went up 40% to diamond blade. But anyway, this manifold here has an adjustment. So you can allow a lot of water to go onto this wheel with this adjustment, or a small amount, and then you float the side, and now you have another sprayer. It's like a shower sprayer, and you can adjust it with this adjustment as well. And then water sprays on the wheel. Now, if you're not using this water and you're cutting asphalt, that means you have a death wish, because that's just tar and kerosene and creosote. And creosote is the last thing you really want to have in your lungs. So I don't cut anything without the water being on. Except, well, on a quick occasion, if I have a fan blowing on the unit, I'll blow the dust away if I have a commercial grade fan. If I don't have a commercial grade fan, I use water, or unless it's really windy. Or I'm using a breather, a complete 3M double canister filter with a full face shield. I don't use this saw without the face shield, or goggles at least, and plus headgear. I do not use this saw without headgear on, and I don't use this saw without gloves on. It's not a good idea. I know how to, I have, but if you want to be safe on the job, you'll put the right gear on. That saw is probably about as dangerous as a chainsaw, if not more, because it doesn't look dangerous, but it is. You can put that down on your foot and eliminate your foot in 5 seconds. Okay, so that's it. I think I'm getting ready to go get my Echo blower. Concerned Expert says, I agree. I would rather have it smoke a little than to burn the rings. I like to see blue smoke. It means people are using oil and not running it into the ground, I guess. I always use more oil, always. I have had no machine, no small engine machine in 40 years. Never have I ever had a small engine machine blow a piston or a ring that I maintained from the day it was new. Other machines that I've bought have blown rings. Okay, thanks, concerned expat. It takes a 14-inch. I would have to look. It's the TS 400. I think it's a 14-inch. If I remember correctly, it takes the 12-inch, but you could fit a 14 on there. Let me go get a ruler. I'll answer your question. I don't remember that. I remember how to take it apart and put it together, but I don't remember what size blade it takes. Go figure. Be right back. Yeah, it'll take a 14-inch blade. $14. That's the diamond blade I have. Also 14 inches. I bought a really good. So by putting this saw together today, so I'll give you an update what I'm doing with the rebar bender. The guy who didn't sell me the rebar bender, I sent him a letter saying that he should look online for his name of his company, and that I will be making videos on a regular basis about how he didn't fulfill his promises on delivery. Since my first live stream this morning, I also called up Lazada and spoke with their escalated customer service, which they reviewed all the notes, and they said somehow they were going to get in contact with him. What they do, I don't know what they'll do. And I don't know if they'll do anything. I have no idea. I don't know that they will do anything. I know that you're supposed to keep. They agreed that the seller of any products on their website has an obligation to get items out on time. And if they don't, then apparently there was a rating, a star rating on Lazada, which I missed altogether. And I would never go through the trouble of pushing a negative star. I mean, what is that going to do at the end of the day? It has to come from customer service. So what I did was I called the bank. My money is not in the account yet. I don't care about that. I know I'm getting the money back. So I'm gonna order a much bigger, more powerful machine, but it doesn't have a rebar cutter in the machine. But this is a rebar cutter. So I don't have to buy, now that this works, I don't have to buy the Makita 14-inch chop saw. Plus, that doesn't have a water mechanism to spray water on anything. But I also have torches. So I don't need a cut-off saw or a Makita chop saw. And I looked for cut-off automatic handheld cutters that cut rebar up to 28 millimeter. Those things are $1,200. A whole rebar bender is only $2,400 without The bigger machine that I'm buying is about 2,000. It's 115,000 plus 30. For 25, 35, 45. It's 115, 25, 35, 40. It's 145,000 pesos. So the original price for the first rebar bender was 193. So 145, 193, that leaves me 50,000 pesos that I don't have to spend. Oh, yeah? Thanks, Dennis. I'll be happy to make a review for them as well. Oh, I haven't started with them yet. I mean, you know, there's no hurry. It's not like this is the business. It's not like anybody is doing big business. It's, who knows? That guy might call me up to say, I don't want a discount. All I wanted was the machine. I mean, he might call me up this afternoon and say, I'll sell you the machine again. And I'll buy it. I have no problem with that because that's the machine I really wanted. But if I don't get that machine, I'll just go to a bigger machine and I'll still have the torches or this saw to cut the rebar with. I don't care how I cut it. I don't care if I cut it with a Makita metal chop saw or I only like the Makita chop saw. I'll tell you what, you all think that you're contractors and all of that. Makita has a nice metal cut-off chop saw. I'll talk about that for a minute. Most chop saws that cut metal, you put the metal in the bed on the table and you screw the screw down or open the screw up to fit the metal. So if you just cut a 3-inch piece of 2x3 or 2x4, it's 4 inches, you have to screw down 4 inches of thread. Why would you buy the Makita for $50 more? They have, I'm sure it's a patented method, but you don't have to screw 4 inches of screw. You can release the threads on the screw and slide it forward 4 inches, snug it up, and then tighten it up, almost like a bar clamp. But it works on threads. It's a little different than the way I explained it, but that's the simple version. So if you want to open it up to a 4-inch opening, you just push two fingers like that and slide it back, and the screw threads release. Slide it back, let it go, and the screw threads positive lock back onto the threads. So that's worth another $50 to $75. That's the difference between one and the other. So if you're going to buy one of those, I'd buy a Makita. And plus, Makita is a better tool than the ones they have. They have another brand. I don't remember the name of it. It's not. I'm sure it'll work for 100 years, but it's not a Makita. So Makita is a pretty good tool. So that's my update on the rebar bender. I'll be buying a much bigger machine with the capacity to make round hoops. And it'll bend, instead of 180-degree bends, it'll bend 215-degree bends, which is not much of a big deal, but I probably won't even use that option, but it does have that option to go to 215 degrees. I don't know what application you'd use that for. I have no idea. But I'm sure if it's made to do something like that, there must be an application. So that's it. I'm going to go inside now. I'm happy that this is working. I'm going to, I'll leave the small blade on there because the big blade when you put it down, it touches everything. And then maybe I'll get the Echo blower, the leaf blower. I don't need that, but it's a $685 tool. And it's not working, and it's apart in bags, like this one was 2 weeks ago. So I guess, thanks, Dennis. Hey, Dennis, I got lucky. You know that. You know that. I just got lucky. I got the right parts, and it didn't rain. Got lucky. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, concerned expat. And thank you to the other gentleman that stopped by with the information. Junior. Thank you, Junior. Now I get real lucky. I haven't had water here in 5 days. I did get in touch with the field crew for the water department yesterday. After Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they didn't answer the phone. Monday, they didn't answer the phone until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They answered, and they said they were coming today to... These guys are a trip, man. I got to tell you, in the Philippines, they say anything that they think will appease you. So he said, yes, sir. Is your water meter broke? I said, no. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. It's probably just dirt in the line. So I said to the man, how can you say that? Sir, it's probably just dirt in the line. So I said, okay, it's probably just dirt in the line. What it is somehow there's a manifold up the block about, I don't know, several hundred feet. I saw the manifold when I put this line in 4 years ago. And it's got about 14 outflows from the manifold. I think what happened is one of the neighbors had their water shut off, and they didn't know which valve to shut off, so they shut off 2 or 3 valves. Who knows? I don't know. But if it was a broken line, then there would be water coming up from the ground or from the street, but there isn't. How he made that guess, he might be the psychic water repairman. Jeez, these guys are funny. So I said, how about maybe just check the manifold? Yes, sir, we'll check the manifold. Did you call up and ask to have the water shut off, sir? No. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure. Okay, we'll check. So they're going to check. I don't see how anybody could shut the water off except me to begin with, but I guess it could be possible, but you have to go to the water company to shut the water off. So who would do that? I don't know. I have no idea who would do that. No, not yet. No, I never stopped. After I spoke with you and Wes this morning, I never stopped. I went straight on to Lazada. I called the shipper like 6 more times. He never answered the phone. Then I called the water department several times before I got through, the field office. Then I put these parts together. Then I came out, and it started raining, and I put everything back in the house. And then when I got everything back in the house, it stopped raining, so I took everything out. No, Dennis. And One Lonely Farmer's wrench, I don't think it's important to him at all. Probably wouldn't use it anyway. And I have a lot of people that have wrenches on my channel. One more, one less won't make a difference. But Wes probably won't be wielding his wrench powers. I'd be happy to give him a wrench, but I need to talk to him. And he was going to bed. His last comment was that he was going to bed. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks everybody for your input. And it hasn't stopped raining, but it's just drizzling. It's going to be like this for 2.5 more months. I think what I'm going to go in and do is check my messages. I think I'll just buy that bigger rebar bender. To be honest, that one is so much bigger. It's exactly, well, the 2-in-1 rebar bender, the Belton, is 176 kilos. The one I'm buying is 300 kilos. Much, much more powerful application. You can bend 1 1/4 inch bar with that all day long. It's rated at 8 hours. It's rated at 100%. It's rated at 100% for 8 hours. So it's not like the Belton is probably rated at 50% usage per hour. So you could use it for a half hour each hour, but this one is rated at 100%. Not that it matters, but this is just a much, much bigger machine. And it also has all kinds of attachments that will allow you to do ornamental fence stuff if you wanted to make ornamental rebar for fences, which I don't, but I might one day. So anyway, I'll probably just go in and order it. I still have 2 more credit cards I haven't touched. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you guys later. I'm Pink Permy from Mr. Congeniality in the Philippines, otherwise known as Michael Fazio's Small Engine Repair. Yeah, baby. Running like a clock. Bye-bye for now. I'm Pink Permy, which means take care always. From Mr. Congeniality himself. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.